Welcome to the F3 podcast, where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finances. And remember, like it says in the bottom, no subject is off limits. We are your hosts today. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to the glorious, the wonderful, the radiant, the delicious. Amen. She's my whole buffet. Glory to God.
Y'all, I need y'all praying.
She is my whole buffet.
I need y'all praying like in tongues.
You don't need to pray. You don't need to pray. Ain't no prayer. Prayer not here right now. Okay? You don't need to pray. Okay? I'm holy. I'm holy before God. She is my wife, my queen, my empress. She is the sainted mother herself, Saint Jasmine the First. Dr. Jasmine Blair. We got a good one for you today, as always.
Welcome, everybody, to the F3 podcast.
Welcome.
Shout out to all of our longtime viewers as well as our new viewers. Listen, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that little notification bell in the corner so you'll be notified every time we premiere a new episode. And remember, no subject is off limits because we will talk about what your pastor won't. We've got a great topic today. We're going to touch back on the UMC, the United Methodist Church, and this $88,000 exit fee. Now, I'm gonna give a little bit of premise, and then we're gonna give the backstory. So, recently saw on social media, somebody sent it to me. There is a church in Georgia that is filing. To make a long story short, they filed a petition to leave the UMC, the United Methodist Church, basically and go out independent from the United Methodists on their own, and they got approval to exit. And the last step of the process is for them to pay this $88,000 exit fee. So we're going to be talking about that today. I'm going to read the post in the specifics. We're going to find out what this $88,000 fee is for. But before we get there, I want to backdrop, because remember earlier this summer we were talking about the Southern Baptists. And, the churches that were excommunicated because they had women pastors and because they believe the Bible says only a man can be a pastor, which nobody has shown me the scripture that says only a man can be a pastor, because it's not there. So because a man can only be a pastor, there were two churches that were excommunicated because they had women pastors on staff. One of the churches was in California that was formerly headed up by Rick Warren, who's no longer the senior pastor. Another church that was somewhere else, there was a woman senior pastor. This woman was a pastor for 30 years. There was no scandal to her name. The only issue that she had done wrong that caused her to be excommunicated is that she had a vajayjay. So now she got excommunicated from the whole Southern Baptist for being a woman, not for sleeping around, not for cheating on her husband, not for stealing money, not for molesting nobody, simply because she is a vulva owner. So that is a problem. That is a problem. So then you had Elevation Church, who left, did not disclose their reasons, but as we know, the wife of the senior pastor is very much a pastor, very involved, preaches, on the regular, is leading things in the ministry. So they said, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and leave quietly before it gets worse. So now, which brings me to the UMC. Now, this has been going on for a while. I'm going to read this article that is dated September the 9th, 2023 on CBS News. And the exact title, you can Google it and the article will come up. Why thousands of U.S. congregations are leaving the United Methodist Church. And this was by Sarah Maddox, again on September the 9th, 2023, CBS News. Bishop Karen Oveto sees her consecration in 2016 as a breaking point of some of the thousands of people who have made the once unthinkable decision to leave the United Methodist Church. Oveto is the church's first and only gay bishop and oversees congregations in Colorado, Montana, Utah, Wyoming, and one church in Idaho. Her services defies long-standing rules in the denomination. Disregard for those church laws and fueling decisions that have led to the exodus of about 20%. So 20% of the whole denomination has left from 2016 until now across the United States since the U.S., since 2019, since disaffiliations begun in 2019. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. So in 4 years, a fifth of the whole denomination is gone. The number of members who have left with their congregations isn't as clear, as the latest figures in 2021 don't reflect the total departures. According to the church's Book of Discipline, which outlines church laws, the LGBTQ people are banned from ordination. Same-sex marriages are also forbidden. Under the church rules, Oveto shouldn't be holding her elected position. For years, the rules have been challenged and upheld by the church's global legislative body, the General Conference. The United Methodist Church, among the country's largest Protestant denominations, has millions of worshipers worldwide. Methodist congregations outside the United States tend to be more conservative. Now, let's skip down to the good part. It says people aren't upset at the bishops who were closeted. That is somebody complaining. It was okay for them not to tell, but they're upset at me for living openly in love and joy, says Oveto. Now, I'm going to put a pause right here so we can talk about this, because I want to clarify. So, in addition, doing my research, in addition to this bishop taking position, they have changed the entire handbook, not like the bylaws part, from my understanding, but the handbook that says who can be a minister, who can be a bishop, who can be an overseer, who can be a pastor. And so it creates a situation where it does not leave each church to govern as they please. So it's not that this person is just a bishop and that's it because of whatever lifestyle that they live. That means this person can leave and go to another church or transfer within this denomination, and they can go to somebody else's church who maybe has a different view and says, you know what, this is what they said, so you have to let me do it. You have to let me openly live this lifestyle. You have to ordain me. You have to marry me. And so the issue became, because again, this person was seated or consecrated in 2016, but the exits started in 2019 after they changed the handbook of what was going to be mandatory throughout all, and these are my words, mandatory throughout all of the United Methodist Church, or as they refer to it, the General Conference. So in the last 4 years, a fifth of these churches have left. So I'm gonna pass it to you. What do you think about that? When you're hearing all of this, what's going through your mind?
My head is spinning.
It's wild. Because see, this goes beyond, well, people should just have a chance to live how they want to live. You're not only that, they are forcing these pastors to have to allow ministers who have a lifestyle that they don't agree with biblically. Now, obviously, these people joined the United Methodist Church under an understanding, under an agreement. And there's one thing that I tell everybody, and again, you pray, you hear from God, you do what is best for you. This is my opinion. When you find yourself in an organization, when you find yourself in an auxiliary, a fellowship, or whatever it is, and the rules, I don't even want to use the word rules because these are not rules, but when the canons and the tenets of the faith are now being redefined to something you don't agree with, you should exit and leave quietly. Now, they're not causing division. Again, there's been some debate, but nobody's throwing anything in this person's face. Nobody's yelling and screaming at them. Nobody's protesting outside of their church. These people have recognized, hey, you know what? When I joined the denomination, when I joined the General Conference, it was one thing. Now it's shifted to saying this. And I find that this is in conflict with what I believe and what I signed up for. So I think it's best to go on and break off independent. Mm-hmm. So this person, and God bless him, loved him dearly, is making it all about their lifestyle when it's bigger than that. This could have been anybody. Yeah. But when the handbook changes for what all churches are going to have to do, and it's being enforced for what all of the churches in the UMC have to do, these people said, you know what? You ain't got to worry about me. I'm going to head on out quietly. God bless you. This has been fun, but this isn't for me anymore. That's not hating a person.
No,
that's not hating their lifestyle choices for themselves. That's them saying, hey, this whole denomination is now shifting and not just allowing, but enforcing something on me and my congregation that I'm not in agreement with.
Right.
So what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, if you're in an organization where they endorse same-sex marriage, the average Christian leader is going to seek to get out of that organization because that goes against the foundational tenets of the faith. It is something that's condemned in Old and New Covenant. So you can't sit up here and accept and expect leaders that hold a standard according to the scriptures to be okay with this, and then you want to slap a hefty price on them too because you mad that they leaving your little fellowship or your denomination. Shame on the United Methodist Church.
Now I want to emphasize here, because if they were enforcing them to mandate that adulterers be able to take office or take position, you see what I'm saying, or murderers, they would have a whole problem with it.
Yes, they would.
You see what I'm saying? So this is not singling out this person that is choosing to live an alternative lifestyle. If you find yourself in a denomination where the whole guidelines and the whole handbook has changed, mandating you to enforce anything that does not line up with scripture, including but not limited to an alternative lifestyle, anything that is contrary to what is in the word, contrary to moral and just conduct biblically, it would be in your best interest to leave as opposed to causing division. Right. You see what I'm saying? And that's the issue. That's really, really the issue. So in 2019, the General Conference held a special session and passed a plan for congregations that wish to leave for reasons of conscience regarding human sexuality. The deal says after 2/3 of the local church agrees, it must uphold significant financial obligations to the United Methodist Church. So in their plan, if you want to leave, you got to, including money for fees and pensions. An amicable separation plan created by church leaders was supposed to be passed the following year at the 2020 conference. Allegedly, the pandemic pushed the meeting back, and it was supposed to be for 2024. So they lied on the pandemic. To make a long story short, some people sued because they was reaching out and they was being ignored. So let's get back to this $88,000 fee that I was talking about. Let's get back to the $88,000 fee. So I
wouldn't pay them jokers
$8. $88,000 fee. I mean, it's crazy.
I'll let them have it.
That's a lot of money. So it's like, okay, you can leave.
You can have your raggedy church.
It's a ransom, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can leave, but you got to pay me all this money first. So this was posted. Somebody sent this to me on social media. It's on Facebook. Harvest Point Church, which is located in Georgia, Locust Grove, Georgia. They posted on their Facebook page December the 1st, and it reads, "Hello, friends. If you are following Harvest Point, we have some good news. In August, the congregation voted to disaffiliate from the United Methodist Church. And last month, the UMC of North Georgia Conference voted to allow Harvest Point to exit. The fact that anyway, as a final step, Harvest Point is raising $88,000.
I wouldn't raise a dime
to pay the conference for past and for future apportionments, plus pastoral benefits. So I guess it was a pension, a salary thing, so you can leave, but you got to pay us back the money that we paid y'all. It is a last requirement as they exit. This is where you come in. If you're reading this post, we ask that you consider making donation to this cause. We have a December 18th deadline to raise the funds. Thank God for many dedicated brothers and sisters at Harvest Point who are excited about the future ministries of the church and leading the way. God is at work, and then they have all this partner information so you can donate and write a check. $88,000.
I'm trying to hold myself together.
$88,000 to leave the denomination because they have changed their handbook and their guidelines, mandating you to ordain, affirm, and allow people into ecclesiastical leadership where it, as they said, for reasons of conscience, as they said. So just think about it. Let's actually do the math here. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna just go with this $88,000. I'm sure the fees have varied, but we're just gonna round it to $80,000. So they said thousands of churches are leaving, right?
Yeah,
thousands. So let's just say it's 1,000. So if 1,000 churches are leaving and they got to pay $80,000, that's $80 million. Do you know how much the UMC is going to profit from thousands of? They finna hit the billions. They finna be the mega millions just in exit fees. Mega millions.
It's all of
United Mega Millions Church. United Mega Millions Church. Jesus. $80 million.
All you gotta do is follow the money trail.
Lord have mercy. $80 million. And that's just 1,000 churches. They said the churches are leaving in the thousands. So just imagine if it was 5,000 churches that had to pay $80,000. That's 400 United Mega Millions Church. United Mega Millions. Dollar bill. $88,000. As they say, for conscious reasons of conscience, making light of the fact that you are forcing these people to have to install people in ministerial positions who are living a life that you, not just that you don't agree, but you have changed the handbook. In my opinion, as much people, this is my opinion, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people have a moral upstanding, but I think the trigger, because again, this individual in the article was installed or consecrated in 2016. The issue came when they held this meeting and they changed everything and made it mandatory throughout the entire UMC and said, hey, if you don't want to do this, this is an exit plan. And the people called it, but you put a whole exit plan in place and now you upset that people are leaving.
Right.
That they're taking it.
Nah.
Somebody has to stand for what they believe in.
Right.
They're not causing an issue. Like I said, they're not complaining. They're not hurling hate at this person. You gave them an ultimatum and forced their hand. And you collected $88,000 a pop for every church that's leaving. For past salary, pension fees, pastor fee, and future. So you're making a profit in the process. You are profiting from all these churches leaving. That's what's being left out of these articles. Yeah. It's wicked. It's very, very wicked. So I want you to speak to the pastors of the congregations that are choosing to leave, the ones that are transitioning, the ones that are finding themselves in this place where they're now going independent from the UMC and they're navigating these uncharted waters, because a lot of them, they've never had to pastor through anything like that. Right. So can you take a few minutes and just kind of speak to them and minister to them and encourage them?
Yeah. First of all, I will say to you that you're not doing anything wrong. You're actually taking a righteous stand.
Amen.
And you're taking a stand for righteousness' sake. And know that, first of all, God is going to be with you in this situation.
Yes.
Now, be not afraid to lose congregants, because you may lose a few little stragglers. But your real congregation is going to stand with you. Mm-hmm. Also, I would say this to the pastors: go independent until you can find something better to plug into.
Come on.
It's okay to go independent. Go independent.
Mm-hmm.
While you find something else to plug into. And honestly, for real, if you have to give them their church back, get your people together and put some money towards a new facility, give them their perverted church back. If they got you the building, or the building is in the UMC's name or whatever the case may be, give them everything they gave you back. If they want your credentials back, give them that back too. Okay.
Oh, give it back.
There are plenty of fellowships. There are
Come
plenty of
on.
other churches that will
Mm-hmm.
gladly take you in. All right,
I feel God on
will
this.
gladly take you in. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and there's and they're not gonna try to change a whole lot about you or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. They admire your stance. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, find you. If it's not a ancient faith church, or
Mm-hmm.
just find you another. Take your time though, but find you another denomination, reformation, or whatever it is,
Yes.
that you can plug into. Okay, you're not a bastard because you're in a season of transition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I believe that the Lord will lead you and guide you because of the stance that you've made. So what you're doing is what's not necessarily just best for you, but what's best for God and what's best for the people, and I commend you for that.
And I just want to add this piece, but before we close, listen, if you find yourself trying to exit and you're not able to make that fee, see what else you can do. You made a good suggestion. Give them their building back, give
Yeah,
them their stuff back, whatever it is. See whatever it is that you can give them back to add that value. Seek some legal counsel,
yeah,
definitely, because none of this is official legal advice, but seek some counsel, see what you can do in the process. Past fees and pensions is one thing, but why should you have to pay them for future pensions if you're not going to be there?
that's right.
That don't make no sense. So I don't know all the behind the scenes in the past because I'm not part of United Mega Millions Church Fellowship. So I don't know if it's future time money or whatever.
They shouldn't be able to do that.
From all the
That
churches,
sounds
but
sketchy.
that does not sound right. That is a requirement. I understand past monies that they've paid out, but I don't understand the future monies. That's the part I'm at. So you might need to seek some legal advice to see what you need to do to maneuver. But to everybody that is out there, listen, we love you. We encourage you. It's going to be okay. Just like I said to the churches that was exiled in this fellowship from the Southern Baptists, I say the same to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And we are in the space where we are seeing the line of demarcation in the church. We are seeing people to stand up to uphold the word of God, and people are not just going to accept any and everything. So
That's right.
congratulations for standing out and allowing the Lord to lift up a standard through you and through your example. And to those of you that are in these congregations, listen, don't just leave. Hold it down. Just hold it down. Just hold it down, because you're going to see this is a form of pruning, really. You like you said, so some of the stragglers will leave, but it's in this that you're going to be able to strengthen what remains.
That's right.
And as you move forward, you're going to grow exponentially. But definitely take your time, find something else, be encouraged, and don't even be mad. But I would seek some legal counsel, because I don't understand the part
Yeah.
about you having to pay fees for future pensions if y'all ain't gonna be there in the future. That don't add. The math ain't mathing for United Mega Millions Church. So y'all find that out. Y'all find that
They
out.
own their money because they're probably struggling.
Listen, because again, thousands.
Yeah.
This ain't just 1,000. It's thousands.
Yeah.
Ain't nowhere in the world you should be able to profit almost $500 million
No,
from all these churches leaving. But I digress. So you got any more closing remarks before we get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, y'all tell us down in the comments what you think. Listen, if you go to one of these churches, we want to hear from you what you think. If you've read the article, tell us in the comments, what your experience has been like, what your opinions are. We definitely want to hear from you. Be sure to follow us over on IG at King in Queen Blair. And until next time on the F3 podcast, goodbye.